due to some injuries from my knee. I had asthma. I have to reject them and to give up this sport.
I don't want to lose any swimmers.
I don't think he's able to continue swimming.
It's tiring. I think I just want to give up. Wow, that's like double of what I'm doing. There were some depressing moments.
They turned us down.
Sincerely, from bottom of his heart.
Qualify for Olympics.
Honor, glory, and pride to the whole nation.
Bersaing dalam Sukan Olimpik, cita-cita besar perenang muda kelahiran Miri Sarawak ini menjelang 20 tahun dari sekarang. Biarpun pada masa ini, Job Tan Shije yang berusia 20 tahun dikatakan bukan pencabar utama dalam sukan renang di negara ini, namun dia yakin namanya akan disenaraikan sebagai atlet yang mewakili negara untuk bersaing dengan jago sukan dari seluruh dunia dalam tamasya Olimpik sebelum usianya mencecah 40 tahun.
15 years ago, so when I was 5 years old, I started swimming. I remember that my dad brought me to a club pool. He just brought me there and just brought me into the water and just played with me. And then I think he saw that I actually loved the pool, the water. And at the age of 5 or 6, then I started to join a team, a club, and started training with a coach. Age 5 till 20, that will be nearly 15 years. Yeah, 14 to 15 years already. It started off as a hobby, I guess.
Sebenarnya Job Tan sudah 15 tahun aktif dalam sukan renang, bermula sebagai hobi pada masa lapang, kemudian sebagai pencabar utama di kolam renang di negara Brunei Darussalam.
And I actually wanted to be part of it, so I think it started off being as a passion, so I actually took it as a hobby. Then after that, after years has passed, then I took it competitively. One of the reasons is I feel a lot calm and more relaxed. Anything that I feel stressed or anything, I'll just go to the water because, like water is very calm and peaceful, satisfying in a way. Another reason is probably I like to race with other people. It's very fun, though it's tiring, but like to be able to keep racing every day with my friends and, in training, we push ourselves. I think that's what makes this sport very fun. Probably when I was 6 or 7 years old, I think back in Brunei, I think it will be called Brunei Age Group.
Job Tan yang menguasai sukan renang bagi acara gaya kuat kupu-kupu, kuat lentang, kuat dada dan gaya bebas dikatakan perenang terpantas di Brunei sebelum keluarganya pulang ke Sarawak pada 2015.
At that time, I think I was also like that. I didn't really think of winning or anything. I just wanted to just swim just as a hobby. At that time, I just took it as a hobby.
I let him to be trained by a local Malay coach in Brunei, Coach Hajimi. From there, I can see that he excelled. And actually, he did very well in terms of performance compared with the national swimmers. But unfortunately, whenever we submit names, they turn us down. They say that you are a foreigner, we cannot accept you. Came a time when I was 57 years old, I have no choice but to leave Brunei because of my age, I cannot get a work permit in Brunei. That's why I decided to come back to Kuching.
I think that was back in high school when I was in Batu Lintang, so I took cross-country running. So I took it about a year. That time it was also because my swimming career was not that great, so I wanted to try other sports because maybe at that time I thought of representing Sarawak. At that time I couldn't use swimming to represent Sarawak, so I decided to try running, but due to some injuries from my knee, I decided to stop and just focus everything on swimming.
It's a good thing that we came back at the right time. He was not overage. If he came back after Form 6 or maybe when he's doing university, I don't think he's able to continue swimming. And because when he came back at the age of 14, 15, that's the best time for him to be noticed by the sports ministry if he performs well.
Oh yes, I think they have always been very supportive of what I have been doing. I think it's because they really believe in do what you enjoy. They always let me decide on what I want to do. So yeah, I'm glad that they were very supportive on what sport I took, which was swimming.
I still wake up early in the morning to prepare him breakfast because I know that he must have enough nourishment in the morning. Because if you want to swim, you want to do exercise, you must have breakfast is the golden meal of the day. So I don't want him to skip the breakfast. So I'll prepare him a wholesome breakfast in the morning before he goes training. I'll make sure I will, we have dogs, we have to leash up the dogs before he goes out. I have to help him to leash up the dogs. I don't want him to be late. So everything I'll do everything for him. He's just breakfast finished, ready to go. Don't have to worry about the thing. I can open the gate, I can lock the gate, I can leash the dog, I can unleash the dogs, right?
He really made a lot of sacrifices for me, like sending me to the pool back then when I couldn't drive, and obviously also making food for me, like especially for my dad. And even though sometimes it's a bit embarrassing, but sometimes it's also nice to see him always supporting me in every competitions. He would always be there no matter what. He will always try his best to be at every competitions I have been to. Once a day I would have a morning session, and then after that I will have a evening session which is from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So that's 2 sessions a day, and in total we'll train 10 sessions a week. Studies and sports, I think it's really hard, but basically just whatever free time I have, I'll just try my best to use up those times to study. But of course I also have to consider that I need some time to rest, especially for recovery, as after intensive training it can be very tiring. So what I normally do is probably I'll try to get an hour just to focus on studying. That way I can revise everything what I have learned. And I wouldn't study the whole day or something. I think it's just too stressful for me.
I'm very thankful and grateful. Am I right that my son is very willing to help me in my food business, right? I know his time is very tight. It's not easy to manage study, training, and working. It can be very taxing because he wakes up early, about in the morning. He's wake up, the latest is 5 a.m. and you have to leave the house before 5:30 in order to be at the pool before 6 for the training. And because my food business is in the afternoon, it starts at 3, finishes at 12 midnight or maybe 1 a.m. So it can be very tiring. If he stays back to help me to do the cleaning out and do the serving the customers, then it will take up a lot of his resting time.
Obviously, it's tiring, I can say. After training, normally my teammates will be back home, but I'll be at my dad's store helping out. But seeing my dad working, obviously you will feel sad, him doing alone. So obviously I'll try my best to help, even though I'm quite tired. But fortunately, I'm quite lucky that he would allow me to go back a bit earlier, because I'm around 10:30. That way I have enough rest to go for morning training tomorrow. So what I normally do to help him is just serve customers, serve the food. If we are done with the work ready, I will start cleaning up everything, like the dishes, the pots and everything. And yeah, once in a while, if my dad is busy or he's tired, he will sometimes get me to cook kolomi. But I think good and bad. There's bad thing is just it gets me tired, but the good thing is I learn things, new things, Normally spend most of my time with my swimming friends more. Church friends a bit lesser, is because most of the time they invite me is always during my training time. Even though sometimes I would feel bad because I have to reject them, because one of the reasons is because I could have my assignments, my work, I could still be training, or I'm just too tired or lazy to go out already. I do hang out with some of my high school mates, but that's quite rare. Yeah, basically very tiring. I feel that as an athlete, I think we sacrifice a lot on our youth. I feel that we sacrificed a lot during our teenager lives. We couldn't really go out because we had training and everything, and we had studies. We didn't really have much time to go out and hang out with friends. But in the long run, I think there was some good and bad about it, but I have no regrets about it.
During one of the day in school, in the morning, when my co-curriculum teacher informed me that there was actually a new student right in my class, and he was an international swimmer, I was informed. Then pretty much I was freaking out, and to be honest, I was excited to meet a new friend.
So he thought ooh, this boy must be really fast. So then he actually came up to me and asked me for what's my personal best. And then I was so embarrassed at that time, was because I think Brunei standard and Malaysia's standard is a lot different. Brunei's swimming is just leisure swimming. They're not really into competitive, but it just so happened that I'm one of the fastest in Brunei. Now once I compare my standard with him, I'm a lot slower than him. So he was thinking like, how come Brunei national swimmer, why is his standard like that? So it was kind of funny, you know.
That's how I met him on the first day in school, and he was introduced by me to my coaches about him. Then on the next day, he joined in my advanced training program in the next day. Yeah.
When I came back to Kuching from Brunei in 2015, the first coach I met was Coach Gary. Back then, that was when I was still training with an association called Kotas. And how he discovered my talent was, I think, is because of my fighting spirit and never to give up.
Job Tan diperkenalkan oleh Puong Hua, rakan sekelasnya yang juga seorang perenang Sarawak, dengan jurulatih renang Gary Lau, dan kemudian mendaftar dengan Persatuan Renang Amatur Kota Samarahan, Kotas.
As you keep doing it, your body would tend to do things, you know, like your mind won't tell you to do, you know. Like when I say that, okay, I want to go slow this session, but in the end, I actually ended up pushing myself to the limit.
He came to us, and then I knew him. He is a Brunei boy. Because he's well built, he got long arms and legs. So on my point of view is, no matter which event or which stroke, he will be good at. This boy, his attitude is very good. His fighting spirits, we can see that this will be a very good athlete, no matter in which field.
He actually trained me for like a year, I think from 2015 to 2016. I'm really grateful for him was because he was the one who built my foundation in swimming. He was the one who focused on my technique.
Menurut Job Tan, jurulatih Gary adalah orang yang bertanggungjawab mendedah dan membina asas renang kepadanya, sekaligus menguasai sukan renang untuk lebih fokus dan berdaya saing tinggi.
I have been teaching learn to swim. He will offer helps. He know that I have been teaching many hours down the days, especially Saturday, Sunday. He will offer helps. I think the help that we can see is not only like because we are giving them salary, but I don't think the point he offer helps is from the point of like asking for salary like that. I think it's sincerely from bottom of his heart.
I would have a coaching session with him because he has his own club right now. His school's name is Swim Art. So a lot of young kids, they would actually take classes from him because of his passion in coaching. I think that's the one thing I love about him is he has that passion to teach. He's really dedicated to teach people who are willing to learn, you know, and I feel like he has actually sacrificed a lot of his time to improve everyone's techniques and everything, like Peng Hao and me and a couple of my friends who train back in Kotas. Yeah, so every weekend we would just coach a few kids, like probably 3 hours a day, and I think I actually from there actually learned a lot from him, because like not just from swimming but also from coaching, like how to interact with the kids, you know, how to get them to be interested in swimming.
Some of them, they will be good in sports and then not good in study. To Job, he can manage both very well, study and also sports. And also is a very good boy to his father. He will help out his father after training, during free time at the noodle store. I salute his attitude, which is, I'm very impressed of it.
It was tough to adapt, you know, because back in Brunei I only trained around like 3 sessions a week. And then suddenly when I went back to Kuching, the requirement if you want to be in this part of the team, you must train at least, I think it was around 6 to 7 sessions. So I was like, wow, that's like double of what I'm doing. So I think starting was tough because, you know, like you're trying new things, and then it tended to be really tough. And I couldn't cope with it because at first I couldn't cope with it because it was so tiring, and then I had to balance with my studies. At the beginning of my Form 3 year, my studies was quite bad, so I had to figure out how to balance both of my sports and studies, which I somehow managed. And yeah, luckily as I kept doing it, it got easier and easier.
In training, we would encourage each other, because sometimes when each other we feel like trying to give up. That's pretty much how we encourage each other. Most of the time will be good memories. Yeah, for example, we would joke around our name. For example, Tonton, we call it as the baby brother Job, or we call it as Jobby.
You grow older, people will tend to give up this sport, because they have other hopes, dreams, they want to do other stuff already.
I don't want to lose any swimmers at that time. I think all kids have their chance to shine themselves, but after encourage him, ask him to try again, ask him to go for it, and happens to be he did trust in me also.
In 2018, that was obviously when I already qualified already, and at that time I remember in Sukma Perak, I didn't really come with a very big expectation.
Bekas pelajar sekolah menengah kebangsaan Batu Lintang Kuching itu sudah berjaya membawa pulang 325 pingat dari kejohanan renang yang disertainya, sama ada di Brunei, di negara ini dan luar negara.
As I remember, going to the finals, right, with no expectation, I just thought, okay, I'm just going to give my best and everything, and then boom, I just got third place. And I remember the third place and the fourth place, we were just a difference of...
Daripada jumlah itu, 75 pingat emas, 100 perak dan 150 gangsa. Jobtan antara atlet Sarawak yang mengumpul pingat dalam sukan Malaysia, iaitu Sukma Sarawak tahun 2016 dan Sukma Perak tahun 2018.
So I remember I was the first swimmer to get the bronze medal for Sarawak swimming team. It was back in 2017. That was right after Sukma. Obviously, I think there were some depressing moments where I thought can I improve or not? Because after that 2016 Sukma, I actually kind of hit a wall. I improved a lot during Sukma 2016 time trial. Then after that, I was stuck. I actually dropped, and basically my times were dropped.
Ketika hasratnya untuk mewakili Sarawak dalam sukan renang tidak kesampaian, Jobtan berhadapan dengan tekanan perasaan.
So frustrating, and at that time I felt like giving up, and also at the same time, coincidentally, it was also my SPM year. I thought of okay, I think I just want to give up, since a lot of people are giving up,
You can be good doesn't mean that's you can be the best, but that's not all, right? You must have team spirit, you must have good cooperation, you must have discipline, you must be willing to learn. When you learn, you must be willing to share. Don't depend on the coach, because being an experienced swimmer, we want him. I hope he's able to encourage and motivate more younger swimmers and bring them up to a level that they can be as state swimmers and one day be a national swimmer for the country.
But luckily, through my dad's motivation, he did say, just keep trying. Maybe there are something good will happen. When I think about it, I'm really glad that I didn't give up at that time, because if I gave up, I wouldn't be in this swimming team with Coach Diong.
Selepas menerima teguran dan motivasi daripada bapanya Johnson Tan dan kata nasihat daripada jurulatih Gary, Jobtan kembali bersemangat untuk berdaya saing.
The Sarawak elite team, so in the end I was with them, and I think that was quite fortunate to join this team. This one was quite surprising, because I thought my high school years, because I thought my academic wise was not that great, but fortunately my SPM was able to get 6 A's and 6 B's. I was quite happy with it, because as a swimmer, I thought my results were worse than that. Maybe I thought it would be C, D's like that, but I was fortunate to get at least A and B.
My hope is, of course, he can excel in his academic, as well as he will be Malaysia's pride. And I hope, that's my wish, that one day he will bring more glory, honor, pride to Malaysia. Obviously, at the moment, he's still a state swimmer, although he's been offered by the national team training KL. I hope he will reach that level whereby he can join SEA Games and later the Olympics. That's my greatest hope and dream. Not only for our family, glory and honor to family, but honor, glory, and pride to the whole nation.
So I just started in my uni, so it's a bit tough to get some money, because as you know, unis, because I study in a private uni from UCSI Kuching campus, and the fees are not that cheap, and it's a bit tough because I don't really have a scholarship for academic, but luckily that the school has actually provided a 50% off for my fees, which is because I am involved in competitive swimming. swimming. At the moment, not yet, but I just applied my PTPTN loan. So yeah, so I'm still trying to apply for government sponsors, but hopefully they will approve it. Yeah, I did swimming as a hobby, so I tried a lot of things. I tried piano, one of them. I took up like other stuff, like other activities, but yeah, the major ones were piano and swimming at that time. So I took piano, I think that was like around grade 5, grade 6 when I was 14 years old. I think a good thing about music was it kind of built you to become a perfectionist, you know, because music is all about, because when you play music, you have to be perfect in everything, you know, you cannot like suddenly salah what, you know, one single mistake, you know, it's about being perfect. And somehow from there, it kind of applied into swimming, you know, because swimming is also about being, you know, trying to get your stroke as perfect as you can. So, you know, I think that's how that character, you know, the perfectionist character was built in me. Then another great thing about music is it kind of is also a good thing for you to calm yourself. Normally, like even before competitions, you know, like before I race, I would normally put on earphones to listen to music. That way I can like focus and everything. My final goal for swimming is hopefully reaching to the Olympics. Obviously, I would try my very best to try to swim as long as I can. Like hopefully, if I can swim until 30, so be it. I think that's a good start point for my juniors, you know. Like right now, I feel like swimmers right here, they have that mentality of thinking that swimming is only until 21, 22, or even 17, 18, then you stop already.
Siswa jurusan perakaunan dan keuangan di UCSI, kampus coaching itu berkata, dalam kejohanan sukan Arafura di Darwin, Australia 2019, dia berjaya membawa pulang pingat emas, manakala dalam kejohanan Institusi Pendidikan Malaysia SIPMA 2019, dia juga pemenang pingat emas.
We can also do it. I think it's just have to create an environment where people can see that swimming until 30 or even 40 and they still can probably go into Olympics, qualify for Olympics. I think it's not impossible to do. That's my big goal for that.
Dia mempunyai kebolehan yang tersendiri. Jarang kita dapat perenang muda yang macam ni. Saya rasa dia boleh pergi jauh dengan adanya disiplin yang tinggi dan sanggup berusaha dengan gigih. Saya rasa beliau dapat pergi jauh.
If I'm probably done with swimming, yeah, I wouldn't mind going to coaching, you know, since it's something I love. After seeing Coach Gary, how he coaches, it inspires me a lot. And I love teaching kids is because, like, you know, you can learn a lot of things, you know, like what are the problems and everything. You got to figure out how to get them interested in swimming. As you know, swimming, it's like a survival sport, you know. Some people may not take it as a competitive sport. They can actually take it as survival, you know. It's like that way, you know, if you were to fall into a river or anything, you can at least save yourself, which I think is important. The third option probably is, you know, like doing what I am studying right now, which is finance and accounting.
Nasihat saya kepada perenang di luar sana, supaya mereka mengambil peluang yang ada, okey, yang untuk menyertai program pembangunan yang telah disediakan oleh pihak MSN dan kerjasama dengan SSC. Selain itu disediakan oleh bekerjasama juga dengan pihak pendidikan dan NGO di seluruh Sarawak.
I can say that if you love to race with other people, you know, try swimming, you know, it's fun. And another reason a fun story is, another reason why I took swimming was also because of I had asthma when I was young. Swimming can actually heal your asthma in a way, yeah. Because of how we breathe, you know, we have a lot of breathing patterns and everything. So it somehow like improves your breathing, which is good. And how would I encourage them would be, not just in swimming. I think that if you want to do something, you just have to put a lot of work into it. If you want to be successful, not just in swimming or anything, work or other sports, I just think that you just have to work hard in what you do, you know. Another thing is just have a passion, you know, like if you love this thing, you know, I think if you have that passion, just go for it. You won't regret it.